Two of our top companies, Microsoft and General Electric, are helping to increase training in engineering and technology. Young people in Laos shouldn't have to move someplace else in order to prosper. You should be able to work and build a better life right here in Laos. And we want to be your partners as Laos forges greater trade and commerce with the world. When other countries invest here, it should create jobs here for the people of Laos. So as Laos pursues economic and labor reforms, we'll work to encourage more trade and investment between our two countries, and between Laos and the rest of this region. As a result of my visit, I hope that more Americans come here as well. To experience your country and the beautiful culture, and to forge new friendships between our peoples. And as Laos grows, we want to be your partner in protecting the natural beauty of your country. From your forests to your rivers. As Laos works to meet its growing need for energy. I want to work with you to pursue clean, renewable energies like solar. And let's help farmers protect their crops, and villages adapt to a changing climate. We should work together so that development is sustainable, especially along the Mekong. Upon which millions of people depend for their livelihood and their food and their health. The Mekong is a treasure that has to be protected for future generations. And we want to be your partner in that process. So this is the future our two countries can build together, and I'm optimistic that we can do it. I'm confident because my visit is part of a broader agenda. As some of you know, as President, a key priority of my foreign policy has been to deepen our engagement with the nations and peoples of the Asia-Pacific. And here, on the final leg of my last visit to Asia as President, I want to discuss why the commitment of the United States to this region will endure for the long term. America's interest in the Asia-Pacific is not new. It's not a passing fad. It reflects fundamental national interests. And in the United States, across the political spectrum, there's widespread recognition that the Asia-Pacific will become even more important in the century ahead, both to America and to the world. In this region, we see hundreds of millions of young people with high expectations for their lives. With many of our major trading partners and most of the world's growing middle class. Growth here can mean more jobs and opportunity in all countries. This region is home to 5 of our treaty allies and some of the world's most capable militaries. Which means Asia will shape the course of global security. And this region is home to more than half of humanity Asian nations, developing and developed. Who will be essential in the fight against challenges like climate change. So for all these reasons, I've worked to rebalance our foreign policy so the United States is playing a larger and long-term role in the Asia-Pacific region. We've strengthened our alliances with our new defense guidelines. Japan and the United States will do even more together to uphold regional security. We've expanded our collaboration with the Republic of Korea. Including on missile defense to counter North Korean threats. Today, I'll be meeting with President Park to reaffirm our unbreakable alliance and to insist that the international community remain united so that North Korea understands that its provocations will only continue to deepen its isolation. With our U.S. Marines now rotating through Australia, we can respond even faster to regional challenges. And with our new access agreement with the Philippines, our militaries are closer than they've been in decades. To keep the peace and deter aggression, we've deployed more of our most advanced military capabilities to the region. Including ships and aircraft to Singapore. And by the end of the decade, a majority of our Navy and Air Force fleets will be based out of the Pacific. And our allies and partners are collaborating more with each other as well. So our alliances and defense capabilities in the Asia-Pacific are as strong as they've ever been. We've also forged deeper ties with emerging economies and emerging powers. With Indonesia and Malaysia, we're promoting entrepreneurship. We're opposing violent extremism, and we're addressing environmental degradation. With my recent visit to Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, we've shown our commitment to fully normalizing our relationship with Vietnam. We've elevated our ties with India across the board, and we welcome India's growing role in the Asia-Pacific. We've deepened our cooperation with regional institutions, especially here in Southeast Asia. And as part of our new strategic partnership with ASEAN, we've agreed to key principles. Including that ASEAN will remain central to peace, prosperity, and progress in the Asia-Pacific. The United States is now part of the East Asia Summit, and together we've made it the leading forum in the region for addressing political and security challenges, including maritime security. We've increased the trade and investment that creates jobs and opportunity on both sides of the Pacific. Since I took office, we've boosted U.S. exports to the Asia-Pacific by 50%. Our Young Leaders Initiative is helping more than 100. Young men and women across this region start new companies and ventures. So we're connecting entrepreneurs and investors and businesses in America and in ASEAN with each other. And thanks to our sustained leadership, 12 of our nations have come together in the Trans-Pacific. Partnership to establish the rules of trade for nearly 40% of the global economy. We've also stood with citizens on behalf of democracy and human rights. We've expanded our support for civil society groups and open government. We saw another democratic election and transition in Indonesia. And as the first U.S. president to visit Myanmar, I am proud that the United States encouraged and now is supporting a historic transition toward democracy. And I look forward to welcoming State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi to the White House next. Weak as we stand with the people of Myanmar in their journey towards pluralism and peace. And alongside all these efforts, we've worked to build a constructive relationship with China. Our two governments continue to have serious differences in important areas. The United States will remain unwavering in our support for universal human rights. But at the same time, we've shown that we can work together to advance mutual interests. The United States and China are engaged across more areas than ever before, from preventing Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon, to our shared commitment to denuclearizing the Korean Peninsula, to our historic leadership together on climate change. So I will say it again, the United States welcomes the rise of a China that is peaceful and stable and prosperous and a responsible player in global affairs, because we believe that that will benefit all of us. In other words, the United States is more deeply engaged across the Asia-Pacific than we have been in decades. Our position is stronger. And we've sent a clear message that, as a Pacific nation, we're here to stay. In good times and bad, you can count on the United States of America. And the question going forward is, what will the future hold for this region? Will disagreements be resolved peacefully, or lead to conflict? Will economies continue to integrate, or succumb to mercantilism or protectionism? Will human dignity be upheld, or will it be denied? Will the international rules and norms that have enabled progress in this region be maintained, or will they erode? So with the time I have left, allow me to share our vision, the values that guide us. And the future we're working toward. are basic principles for peace and progress here in this region, including Laos and across the Asia-Pacific. First, we believe that all nations and peoples deserve to live in security and peace. We believe that the sovereignty and territorial integrity of every nation must be upheld. And we believe that every nation matters, no matter their size. We believe that bigger nations should not dictate to smaller nations. And that all nations should play by the same rules. America's treaty allies must know our commitment to your defense is a solemn obligation that will never waver. And across the region, including in the East and South China Seas, the United States will continue to fly. And sail and operate wherever international law allows, and support the right of all countries to do the same. We will stand with our allies and partners in upholding fundamental interests. Among them freedom of navigation and overflight, lawful commerce that's not impeded, and peaceful resolution of disputes. That's the security that we seek. We also believe that just as nations have rights, nations also have responsibilities. Including the responsibility to work together to address problems no nation can solve alone. So many of today's threats transcend borders, and every country has a role to play. We will have to cooperate better together to stop terrorist attacks. And to prevent the spread of the world's most dangerous weapons. We will have to work together to avoid the worst effects of climate change. We have to work together to stop the horror of human trafficking, and end the outrage of modern-day slavery. These are areas where we seek deeper cooperation.